NFL kicks off with the Cowboys and the Eagles. So let's look ahead to this weekend's slate of preseason games with a Friday forecast. D. Wood, what are you forecasting for Jackson Dart against the Jets?
Saw the athletic ability. We saw him standing in the pocket, getting hit and delivering on a touchdown strike. You just want to see the young man keep building on the momentum.
Falcons this week.
Graz, 2 or 3 explosive plays. This is the first pick overall. He has a rocket for an arm. I thought last week was a good foundation. Now push the ball down the field. You got Calvin Ridley and some other weapons. I think Cam Ward's going to be
excited about what he can bring to this team. And I see this as any of the quarterbacks that are coming out this year. Obviously, they're not as many as last year, but he's the one who I think has a chance to make the kind of C.J. Stroud or Jaden Daniels type impact on the organization.
All right, speaking of quarterbacks who came out last year, what are you forecasting for Caleb Williams against Buffalo?
On time. It's kind of a little bit of the opposite. It's not the big plays that you know that Caleb is capable of. It's being on time and being accurate. I suspect they're going to do a lot of play action with some boot to get him out of the pocket because that forces you to make a decision and get rid of the ball on time. But I do expect for him to be under control and under center and demonstrate that he can do all like simple level 1 quarterback things well, because we know he has the capability to do the level 4, 5, and 6 stuff. He's shown us that ability.
Yeah, that was fun watching him in last year's preseason when he did that crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But they don't want that. I mean, they want it, but they want it to happen organically out of their structure. What are you looking for from Caleb?
Yeah, no, I think, Nick pointed out some good things. I think, number one, you want to build his confidence early, get some easy completions. So I think you had mentioned like rolling out, like play to his strength. Don't have everything within the pocket. We know that in the Ben Johnson offense, you want to run the football and play action pass, but, play to his strengths as well and getting them on the move, stuff like that. But ultimately, man, you got to understand that Ben Johnson is deconstructing this young man to build him back up, and this is the first step in the process.
Play to his strengths, Mike T. He has them. Like he was the first pick in the draft. The Bears didn't even consider Jaden Daniels or any of the other very good quarterback prospects in last year's draft. Can you remind the people, because we have short memories sometimes when we talk about this league, what it was about Caleb Williams that made him that guy?
Yeah, absolutely, Graz. Let's go back. Let's watch him against UCLA. Look at this throw. Eyes are down the field. This ball's 50 yards in the air, and look how accurate it is. That's why he's the first pick overall. Very few people can do that on the planet. In terms of athleticism, again, I know it's only Stanford, but look, he is fast. He is strong.
What do you have against Stanford?
Catching strays. Like only Stanford.
Yeah, good school, man.
Yeah, it's
pretty good
school.
Pretty good football history.
Yeah, they go on and go to
good players go through there.
Football players?
I don't even remember what we were talking about.
When we're assessing players and we're in the draft room, we're looking at their ceiling, and you're looking at his athleticism, his arm strength against pretty good competition despite Stanford. And that's why
Stanford and others.
You didn't get in, huh? What did Stanford do to you, Mike D? You try to go?
Yeah, well, of course. But.
I like it. Mike D tried to save the segment, but we wouldn't let him do it. What happens? What happens if it looks bad? Like if Caleb goes out there this weekend and it's like, oh man.
I mean, we do what we do. We overreact. Like, that's exactly what's going to happen, and it's in part because it's the preseason game, and you don't expect anyone to like really struggle the way that he looked in season last year. They're not going to game plan for you in that way. They're not going to run any sophisticated blitzes. You don't expect guys, rookie quarterbacks, second-year quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks, you don't expect them to go out there and look a mess in a preseason game. So if he does like really legitimately struggle, I think we do overreact to it and imagine that maybe they start thinking about the future. But I think
on the second preseason game,
I think we start to get a little panicky. You don't think so? You think we come in here
thinking about the future?
Oh no, I'm saying outside. I think inside
gotcha.
there's no hesitation. They're committed to him for this season. If the season goes poorly, that's another conversation.
And what do great coaches do? They adjust. And we all think Ben Johnson's going to be a great coach. And maybe they come out and it's a little bit more two tight ends. They have Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet. And maybe they just gradually work to where Detroit was. And maybe it's a little bit more run than they want ideally. But that's the key in the NFL. In my opinion, you want to win and develop. And to me, like, if he's not ready for the whole package, that's okay. There's still other ways you can win.
What kinds of things can Ben Johnson do to make it a little easier for him?
First off, running the football. The reason that you rebuilt your offensive line in particular is because you want to give this young man every chance to be successful with, and it starts by running the football, because in this offense, you want to run it and the play action pass marries the run game. So running the football, play action. You talked about 2 tight ends, easy completions. That's how you get the young man going.
It's a pretty good group around him, right? I mean, like the receivers and
yeah, no, it's an incredible group.
Yeah.
I think either Luther Burden's going to be a great addition, but the best thing that he could do to make life easier for Caleb Williams is get Stanford on the schedule. We can roll those bums, right, Mike D? Roll those bums anytime we want, Mike
nails
D.
against Stanford.
Man, Andrew Luck went to Stanford. They're good.
I mean, like
Jim Harbaugh. I'm sorry.
Like they did. Odunze, a first-round pick last year. They had DJ Moore that they signed. They draft Colston. Like, I mean, there's a way for him to look good.
Right, there is, and he needs to have more than a net 23 yards. That was the most unbelievable stat from Hembo, that in terms of rushing yards minus the sack yards lost, he had a net 23 yards last year. I didn't go to Stanford, but I know that's not very good. And to me, you have to avoid the negative play before you start doing good things. So those 68 sacks and all that lost yards has to be cut at least in half.
All right, let's run the hurry up before we get an angry call from Andrew Luck. With some other quarterback news, Mike T, Matthew Stafford is going to test out his bad back in a workout tomorrow and then hopefully practice next week, which is exactly what the Rams said this time last week. So what's your level of panic right now?
It's extremely high. Even without my Stanford medical degree, I can tell you that a bad back in August doesn't get better. He's 37 years old. I know Dan Orlovsky feels like it's not an issue, but I'm telling you, when you're 37 and your back is sore in August, it doesn't get better in the regular season. This is a Super Bowl contender with Matt Stafford, not in the playoffs without him.
I was concerned, but Dr. Dan Orlovsky said it's all good. Well, in that case, I'm not worried at all. But yeah, having a back issue for older quarterback, I was going to say at this point in the season hasn't even started yet. At this point in the preseason is obviously very concerning for them.
I mean, think about it. This is the healthiest you're going to be. We're talking about a guy hasn't even taken one snap in practice, and you're supposed to be optimistic. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a fascinating story to watch. If he doesn't get on the practice field next week, I think we have license to panic. I guess we'll run it by Orlovsky and see what he thinks. But, yes, it's starting to get late early. The Chargers starting quarterback is going to play against the Rams this weekend. That's Justin Herbert, and we know he's great, and they made the playoffs last year. D. Wood, could someone other than the Chiefs win the AFC West this year?
Yeah, listen, Denver Broncos. I don't know if people are really talking about the Denver Broncos much, but you're talking about a team that could possibly have the best defense in the league. Bo Nix in his second year. Usually those guys make their biggest jump between year 1 and year 2. Terrific offensive line. R.J. Harvey, the running back they drafted in the 3rd round. I really like him. So, Denver's going to be a big deal in the AFC West this year.
What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I think Denver is going to be an incredible challenge for the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are also better than they were last year. I think the Rashawn Slater loss in L.A. is one that's going to be hard to overcome. He's a great tackle for them, and the Raiders are still in a rebuild. So it really comes down to the Broncos versus the Chiefs. The Broncos are better than they were last year.